So in this program, let's create a program in order to conduct a quiz. Let's call it a quiz game. So output should look like this. So initially when you run the program should give you a question. A slug's blood is green, true or false. Now you can type true or false. Then depending on your answer, it is going to say whether it is right or wrong. So these are only true or false questions. Okay. So you got it right. The correct answer was true and your score is this. So after every question, we are also going to get a score. So first display a question, collect the answer from the user and check the answer and say what the right answer was and then say what is the score so far. And after the first question, again the second question is displayed and again when I write false, again it is saying score is true. Okay, so like this we should continuously keep on getting the questions. Now, how to get the questions, I'll tell you later. For now, you can get your or type your random questions. Let's see the data, the questions database. So the questions database is actually a list of dictionaries. You can see that it is a list. Okay, it is a list. And now in the list, there are many dictionaries. And in the dictionary, there are key value pairs like this. Text is the key and the question is the value and answer is the key and true or false is the value. Okay, so for this question, the answer is true. Now you can create your own questions like that. I have created some 12 questions. You can create any number of questions that you want so that anyone who is playing the game will go through this quiz. Now, how to get these questions, I will tell you later. So one thing that you have to understand here is you can write the program in a simple way without using any functions or anything, but we don't want to do like that. We want to use your knowledge of the dictionaries, the lists, classes, and objects. So we want to write this program in an object-oriented way, where we are going to create classes and we are going to create objects from that, and we are going to solve this problem. At the end of the program, I'll tell you how to get new questions. There is a website, Open Trivia. I will show you that website at the end of the program. So if you are playing the game, if someone is playing the game more than once, they will figure out the answers. If you want to change the questions, I'll tell you how to change the questions at the end of the program. Okay. So let's get into the program. Thank you. Now in the project, we have data.py, which is containing the database of questions, which we are going to use for the quiz. Now let's try to take each question and put it in an object. Okay, for that we are going to create an object called question. Let's create a new file. So in a new file, I'm trying to put the this question object question class. So one thing you have to observe here is we don't have to write classes here, and we don't need many files. But this is how real projects are done. So for everything there will be a separate file so that multiple people can collaborate and work on separate things. So that is why we are creating a separate file called question model.py. In this question model, we are going to create an object for the question. Okay. Sorry, class for the question. And the name of the class is question. Later we will create objects from the question. Okay. So each question object is going to hold the data, the text of the question, what is the actual question is, and the answer. So it has two attributes. One is the what is the question, and the second is what is the answer. So that is why we are using an init function. So you can directly type init and it will show you in the drop down list and you can autofill directly. So we are going to have two attributes. One is called the text, which is nothing but text of the question, and the other is called answer, which is nothing but answer to the question. So we have to initialize them. So while creating the object, question object, we are going to pass both the text and the answer. Let's call it as qtext. So these are the parameters to init. Now whenever you create a object of this question, you are going to provide what is the text and what is the answer. Later we will loop on the list of the questions, and we will take each question one by one and we'll keep on adding there. Equal to is missing. Self answer equal to Q answer. Now let's try to create a small object here. New question is a object of class question. I'm just creating it so that you'll understand what has happened here. And to this I am passing some question. 2 plus 3 equal to 5. The answer is true. Right. Now if I run it, a new question is created. Let's try to print what is in the text. New question dot text. So I didn't do anything complicated here. It is very simple. We have created an object which is taking two parameters when it is an object is created. One is question text and one is Q answer. Now I am creating an object here and I am passing the text of the question and the answer to the question, and now I am just printing it. It is supposed to print the text. New question underscore text dot text. Yeah. Now you can see that 2 plus 3 equal to 5. The text is printed. So later what we will do is, we will take each question one by one from the database and we will create one object for every question, so that every object will contain one question and its answer, and later we will use these objects to present the question to the user and check the answer. So as we go ahead, you will understand what we are trying to do. But for now, let's go step by step. Okay, let's now delete this. It is not required, it is just to show you whether it is working or not. Okay, so we will continue. Thank you. So in this video, we will see how to create a list of objects. So we know that the questions are list of dictionaries. Instead of having dictionaries, we are going to convert them into list of objects. You might get a doubt here. Why are we using objects instead when we have a list, and when we have a list of dictionaries? From the dictionaries, we can directly get the text and print it. We could have done that, but this is to explain you the use of classes and objects. Okay. Now let us see. So what happens is, when you write like this, the code is written in this way. Later when you change the question bank, the list of questions to some other format, it will be easy for your program to adopt with only minor modifications that we will see at the end. Now we want to create a question bank which is nothing but a list, and it should contain objects in it, and each object should contain one question and one answer. Okay, so this is what we want. Now let's go to main.py. So in the main.py, we are going to import the data. So from question model, the data is in a list, and the name of the list is question. And similarly, we are going to import the data. Okay, first we have imported the question class, and now we are importing the data, and which is in question data. So it is a list. Okay, so we have imported both of them and we are going to use both of them here. So we are going to create a new list which is empty initially. An empty list is created called question bank, and to this question bank we will add all the objects, and each object will contain one question and one answer. So we are looping over the data. We are taking each question. You know that data is a list of dictionaries. So inside the list, we are looping over each item one by one. So each question will be a dictionary here. Now within the dictionary, we have key value pairs. One is the text and other is the answer. So we can get hold of. So text is the key which contains whose value is the question. So we are going to save it in a variable called question text. So which will be a string. Here question text will be a string which contains the question. And then similarly, question answer has to be stored, and that is in the dictionary by the key name answer. So now we have got the text and the answer. Now let's create a object of the type question using this text and the answer. For each question we are going to do it. That is why we are putting it in for loop. So new question. We are passing the question text and question answer. And once a new object is created, a question object is created, we are going to append it to the list that we have empty as of now. So we are going to append it to the list one by one. So all of them are appended now. So we are creating an object and we are appending it. Now let's try to print what is there in the question bank. After running this, let's see what is there in the question bank. Let's run it and see. So if you observe it, it is showing that question bank is a list. You can see this. Okay, question bank is a list. Inside the list, we have an object and then comma separated by an object. Like this, there will be 12 objects because there are 12 questions. So 12 objects are created and all of them are added. Okay, thank you. Now that we have created list of objects, now we want to show the questions to the user one by one from that list. Again, for this purpose, we are going to create one more class in a file called quizbrain. Okay, so let's create a file quizbrain. Let's delete this line. It is not required. So let's create a file quizbrain. Now quizbrain.py is created. If you can see that inside that file, we are trying to create one more new class. Okay. So the name of the class is quizbrain. See, the file name is in small letters and the quizbrain is in capital letters. Quiz and brain are in capitals, starting with capital letters. So when you import it, there should not be any confusion. Okay. Now we are going to pass to this quizbrain. One is the list of the objects that we have created so far, and the other thing that we want is a question number to remember till what question we have shown and what is the question number that is displayed on the screen. So if you look at the output, we have question 1, question 2, question 3 displayed, and also we have to keep track whether the questions are over or not. For that reason, we are going to use a variable called question number, and it is always initialized to 0 whenever this object is created. When I write like this without passing any parameters, it means that whenever this object is created, it will start from question number 0, because in our list the indexing starts from 0. That is why we are using 0 here. And then we are going to pass the list of objects that we have created, the question bank. Whatever question bank we have created, the list of objects of questions that we are going to pass to this. So let's say queue list. Now when you create the object, we are going to pass it, and that is going to be stored in question list. Okay. Now let's define a function which is a method in this class called next question. So next question is going to give us next question every time. First question, second question, third question, like that. If we have to show the questions, then next question is used. Now we are going to get into the list called question list, self.question list. See, whenever you are trying to access attributes of a class, always try to write self. Otherwise, there will be an error. So self.question list, we are going to get the first question. So where is the first question? It is in the question number. So whatever the question number here it is, we are going to get it first. So question number. Now it is going to get us the first question, and that object is in question object. This current question object. Now using the current question object, we can get the text, the question in the current object. Okay. So we are going to show it to the user and we are going to accept true or false. For that I am writing input. So user will be shown a question and at the end of the question he will be shown true or false. Now where is the question? It is inside. So here we are typing question number. So q dot some number is here, question number is here. Initially it is 0. So question number 0 will be shown. That is a problem here. We have to start from question number 1 when we show it to the user. See, inside the list, indexing is going to start from 0, but when you show that to the user, it has to start from 1. We are going to fix it. Initially we will get 0, we are going to fix it. Now where is the question? The question is in this object, current question object, current question dot text. So text is the attribute and current question is the object. We are going to get it. And now we are going to show true or false. Okay. Let's now go to the main.py. In main.py, let's create an object of the type quizbrain. So we have to import it first. File name is quizbrain, therefore module name is quizbrain here. From quizbrain, import quizbrain. This is the class, this is the file. And now we are creating an object of quizbrain. While creating the object, you have to send this question back, otherwise it doesn't know where to get the questions from. So we have to send this list of objects. Question bank, and let's now call the method next question. Now we are supposed to see something on the output which is nothing but the first question. See, even though next question is written here, we have written the functionality to show only one question, not all the questions. So one question will be displayed. So one question is displayed, but if you observe it, here it is written as Q0. Actually, it should be question 1, but here it is written as question 0 because there, if you remember, question number was starting from 0. So we have to make some modifications in the code. Let's go to the code. This has shown only one question and stopped. The program has exited. We have to modify it in order to show all the questions. So what we are trying to put here is, we can put question number plus 1. So if the number is 0, it will type 1. This is one way. Other way is, since anyway question number 0 is over, next we are going to question number 1, we can increment it. See, already question number 0 is over. Next time when we fetch, we are going to fetch question number 1. For that reason, I am incrementing the question number value. Okay. Now you can see that question number 1 is shown here. And next it will show question number 2, question number 3. But there are some other functionalities that have to be added. We will add them. Okay, thank you. Let's see the output. What has happened so far? If you run this program, you are going to see only one question. One question is shown, and user is asked whether true or false. If he enters true, then the program is exiting. But what functionality we need is, we want to show the user all the questions one after the other. So we need to somehow do that. By now you might have got this idea that we need to use a while loop. In the while loop, we have to print all the questions one after the other. But what should be the condition in the while loop? So there we have to say whether still questions are remaining or not. While still questions are remaining, we are going to see next question, right? So this is what we want. While there has to be some condition here, which we are going to see now. And after that, we are going to call next question, quiz next question, right? So there has to be something here. Now let us see, let us modify quiz brain in order to get whether there are more questions or not. Let us add a new function or new method which will return true or false based on whether questions are available or not. So the name of the method is still has questions. Now we are going to get the length of the list. So what is the length of the list? We are going to get that. And once we get the length of the list, we are going to compare it with the question number. If you observe it, the question number is actually incremented here. Every time a question is printed, the question number is incremented. That is why we are using question number here with the length of the list of the objects. Now, if the length is less, which means if the question number is less than the length, then obviously more questions are remaining. In this case, we are going to return true, else we are going to return false. Okay, now if you observe it once, the code, if this condition is true, we are returning true, else it is returning false. So therefore, instead of writing return true and return false, we can directly write a return here, which will actually return true or false based on this condition. Now we will use this method inside the main.py. Quiz dot still has more function, more questions, and now each question is printed one after the other. Now let us run it and see what is happening. There is a syntax error. So the syntax error says that here there is some syntax error. Yeah, colon is written. Now if I write true, now it is showing the second question, third question, fourth question. Like that it is keeping, it is going on till 12th question. So see that all the 12 questions which are in our database are printed and then it has ended. Now what mechanism that we want to add to this project is, somehow we have to check the answer and also keep track of the score. What is the score so far? We have to keep track of it. We will see in the next video. Okay. Now there has to be a way to check whether the answer given by user is right or wrong. In case if he is correct, then we have to increase the score. Otherwise, leave the score as it is. And these are the things that we are going to do in this video. So we are going to write a new function in QuizBrain class. It is a method. Sometimes I use function, sometimes I use method. But when you are talking about functions within the classes, it should always be a method. Okay. So we are writing a new method called check answer, and whatever user has given as an input, we are going to take it in user answer. In the next question method, we got that input from the user, so we are going to store it. Now we are going to call this check answer from the next question by passing in what is the user answer and what is the correct answer. Okay. So we are calling check answer by passing it what is the answer that user has given and what is the correct answer. That correct answer is in current question dot answer. So current question is the object and dot answer is the attribute. Current question dot answer contains what is the correct answer. So we are going to pass both of them to check answer, and in the check answer method we are checking them. So user answer and the correct answer is the parameter's name, and it is going to get these two parameters or these two arguments. Okay. Now we will check if the user answer and the correct answer is right, but let's try to convert both of them to lower so that sometimes user may enter capital letters, sometimes small letters. So let's try to convert both of them to lower so that it will be easy to compare. Now, if both of them are equal, then what we should be doing is we should print something onto the screen saying that he was right. Right? So we are going to print something onto the screen. You got it right. Some message we have to say that he is right. You got it right. Else, in the else part, you can say you got it wrong. And in both the cases, we want to show the user what actual answer was. Even if he is right, we want to show him what the actual answer is. The right way is to print after in the else part, but we want to show it anyway. So we want to say what the correct answer was. The correct answer was whatever correct answer it is, we are printing it. Now we have to check even the score. So we will see the score now. So we are going to have a new variable which is an attribute to this class called score. And whenever this class is created, always the starting value of score will be 0 because of this. This is written in init. Okay. Now, whenever it says the score right, we are going to increase the score. Self.score plus equal to 1. And we will show the score here. What is the current score out of how many questions? We want to show it as 1 out of 2, which means out of 2 questions you have done 1. Your score is 1. So for that we are going to use one is score and the other one is what is the question number he is currently in. So question number and the score. Okay. Now let's run it and see. So you can see that one question is printed, you got it right is there, and the answer was true is there, and the score is given. But then between first question and second question, there is no spacing. Let's add a new line there. After every question, let's add a new line. Now, if you run it and see, after the first question, there is some space, and the second question is printed. And again, after the second question, there is space. So, like this, it will go on till 12th question. Okay, so out of 12, we got a score of 3 because we have not entered questions, answers correctly. But anyway, this is what has to happen. But at the end of this particular quiz, we want to show them something on the output screen saying that this is your final score. Okay, at the end of it. So that is why we are writing in the main.py. We are writing some lines. You have completed the quiz. So this will be printed at the end. And now your final score is, you can write like that, which is an string. So we have to put the final score. So whatever the score it is, quiz.score. The score is present in quiz.score, if you remember. That is an attribute of the class quiz, brain, and quiz is the object. Out of quiz dot question number. So finally it will be 12. So we are going to get this finally. Okay. Thank you. So till now in the program, we have created questions on our own and we have used it as a list of dictionaries. But now if you want to create or get more questions or interesting questions, there is a website called Open Trivia Database. Okay, opentdb.com, opentdb.com, Open Trivia Database. Now in this database, if you go to APIs, click on API, then it will ask you what kind of questions, how many number of questions you want. Now let us say 10 questions I want. Category can be anything, general knowledge, and difficulty level, let us say easy, and select the type, true or false questions. Now if you generate the URL, API URL, now you will get one API URL. Now if you take this API URL and if you paste it in the browser, then you are going to get a list of questions like this, 10 questions like this. So as an exercise, what I want you to do is replace the database of questions that we have used by this database. And this database is actually a JSON object, okay, JavaScript object notation, which is nothing but a dictionary. And inside the dictionary, there is a list. Okay, again, if you go back to if you delete all that, you can extract the list, and in that list you can replace it with the list that we have done, but just see what are the keys being used. In the keys we have used text, but here the key is different. Here the key value is question. Here the key value is question and the answer is correct answer. So you have to replace only these two words in your program. Everything will be fine, it will work. So take it as an exercise, change the database and try to play with it. Okay, thank you.